So, you want to know about the Golden Age, huh? Well, the Golden Age is point 1 on the timeline for us as Guardians. The first point, we found the Traveler and started to understand science, medicine, math, longer lifespans. Yeah, it's a gaggle of things that we improved as humanity over the years. Granted, some of the improvements can still be questionable at best. Still, how to start? What brought about the Golden Age? I guess you could look at groups of the 20th and 21st century to know a bit of the answer behind that. NASA and other governmental listening posts saw this thing moving around in space. Though we're unsure the order that this thing arrived in, it visited Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus before it eventually moved to Mars. Ares 1, commanded by Jacob Hardy and crewed by 2 others, was sent from Earth to Mars to understand what this thing was. It was a gamble, however. They had no idea what to expect of this thing moving around through space, or even if it would arrive on Mars to begin with. Still, it was a gamble that paid off. Recovered holovids of the incident show you, the viewer, cresting the rise to see the Traveler hovering there in its big ball of white glory, minus the googly eyes that Cade still wants to make us believe that was there from day one. I don't know how we trust Cade's information some days. One way or another, Hardy and his crew arrived back on Earth, and so too did the Traveler. It bestowed knowledge upon us about the uses of light within science, helping us to understand ways to quickly move about our solar system, colonizing Mars and Venus, setting up stations on the Moon, Io, Titan. The list goes on for what the Traveler did within our solar system. Those who venture out far enough may be able to find some of those ruins left from the Golden Age, but we'll have to wait a bit longer and push the darkness back a bit more. I mean, it's not like the Cabal are gonna blow us up in the tower at all. Crap, that would work, wouldn't it? Anyway, Earth was another matter in terms of how humanity grew up. Slowly but surely, the ideas of race and hatred amongst us slowly moved away. We had other things to focus our energies on, even if some wanted to shun off the gifts the Traveler gave humanity. This led to a highly unified Earth, and that also led to more organizations working closer and closer together to better humanity as a whole. Though I suppose the betterment part can be argued, especially with Clovis Bray and Ishtar Academy performing some of the experiments they have over time. Through records we've only recently recovered thanks to the second outbreak of Siva and the Fallen, we now know that Clovis Bray is largely responsible for the creation of Siva. We also know the lengths they went to test this human-enhancing nanomachine, leaving several test subjects husks of their typical selves, or worse. Clovis Bray is also to blame for the creation of the Exos, for the creation of myself. I couldn't tell you at this point what made me sign up for the procedure or who I was during the Golden Age, but one thing's for certain. I at least know that Clovis Bray is largely responsible for making any of the Exos. Then again, Ishtar Academy may also be to blame. During the Golden Age, we came in contact with one of our now current enemies, the Vex. There was one instance within the Ishtar Academy on record that states a group was under the control of a Vex goblin. Apparently, the Vex had started to make simulations of these members, which kept them in a constant loop. 227 copies of the subjects were made by the Vex to gauge how they would handle being captive by this one single Vex, and it took a war mind to put a stop to that single Vex. Maybe I should sum that up. One lone Vex goblin decided it'd be a good idea to make copies of the people that found it on Venus for the sake of trying to understand how humanity acted. It did this 227 times over, and only after getting the Warmind on Venus or others involved was the Vex overwhelmed by the information it received. That's just how powerful Warminds are, and why we really do hope to see Rasputin on our side someday. Oh, right, Warminds! Warminds are also a product of understanding artificial intelligence to a better degree than what we had before the Traveler. Our technology went up leaps and bounds when we infused the understanding of light into it. The Golden Age really sparked these revelations in terms of our technology. Of course, it also sparked some scary ideas, too. Take Future War Cult's device as an example. This machine is able to see into time, or so we think it is. The device is able to go along different time waves to see different outcomes, perhaps, or different visions of that person's future. It's unsure exactly how it works, but the Golden Age is to blame for this piece of technology. Maya Sundaresh in particular seems to have a very large hand in the creation of this device. Required reading on this device is Vex Grimoire 5, by the way. It might look familiar to current-day records of the war cults. Still, not all the technology we bore from the Golden Age was questionable. Spacecraft was able to reach near-light speeds, and being able to construct massive craft to take us out into the deep black of space to colonize other planets was certainly on the agenda. Look at the Exodus colony ships, like that of Exodus Blue, one of the current arenas that Lord Shaxx has us prove our worth on. Then again, I hear rumblings out on Nessus of another Exodus craft sending out a signal. Might be time to get out there and see what's happening. In either case, that about sums up the Golden Age, or at least the Cliff Notes. The ages of Earth can be somewhat confusing to cover, and that's what we'll be covering over the next couple of classes. Next up, the Collapse. If there's anything you felt I left out, fill out a comment card so I know to add it for further lectures. Still, I'm rated on how many comments I get for these classes, so just leave the phrase Golden Age in a comment if you're not sure what to say. Makes the most sense to me. Otherwise, hit the like or dislike button for iQuora to know how I'm doing with these lessons. Maybe one day I'll work off my community service and I'll be able to go shoot things again. If nothing else, thanks for being here, class, and I'll see you next lesson. Dismiss, Greenhorns.